Good morning. We'll convene the Tuesday meeting of the Board of County Commissioners. We will start with our, let's see, let's do the roll call.
Chair Commissioner Clay Murphy.
Present.
Vice Chair Commissioner Ann Taylor.
It should be on. There you go. Wait, don't push it. Just push it once. Okay. You're recognized.
Commissioner Christian Whitehurst.
Present.
Commissioner Sarah Arnold. Present. And Commissioner Krista Joseph.
Present.
All right, thank you so much. We're going to start with our invocation. It will be by Pastor Will Wold of the First United Methodist Church of St. Augustine. Could we stand, please?
Thank you all. Let's pray. God of peace, we come into this space from different places, different experiences, different convictions, different hopes for our community. And yet we're in this moment where we're gathered together for a shared responsibility to care for St. Johns County. God, in a world that is often loud, reactive, divided, and fearful, we ask for something different here. Not the absence of disagreement, but the presence of peace. A peace that steadies us, that slows us down, reminds us to listen before we speak, and to seek understanding. God, we ask that you would grant our commissioners wisdom as they carry the weight of decisions that impact so many lives. When the issues are complex, give them clarity. When the pressures are high, give them steadiness. When the path forward is unclear, give them courage to choose what is right. God, guard this room from cynicism and from the temptation to turn differences into division. Instead, let this be a place where respect is practiced, where every voice is heard with dignity. And even when disagreement occurs, there is a commitment to the common good. So remind all here today that peace is not passive. It requires patience, restraint, and a willingness to see one another not as opponents, but as neighbors. God, may the work here done today reflect not only good policy, but a deeper commitment to justice, compassion, and the well-being of all. God, guide our words, steady our hearts, and shape our decisions with wisdom and peace. Amen.
Thank you. Now followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by United States Army Chief Warrant Officer Jerry Dedge, retired, also a Airport Authority board member. Thank you, Jerry.
Good morning, Board. Thanks for having me again. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. We have a proclamation this morning.
A proclamation by the Board of County Commissioners, St. Johns County, Florida. Whereas public safety telecommunicators of the St. Johns County Sheriff's Office, SJSO, and St. Johns County Fire Rescue, SJCFR, are the first contact for those who use the 911 emergency number. And whereas public safety telecommunicators play a vital role in the protection of human life and property in our community and are responsible for engaging with callers who are often under duress and in danger, obtaining necessary information, determining the emergency, and dispatching appropriate personnel. And whereas public safety telecommunicators are the single vital link for our police officers, deputy sheriffs, firefighters, and paramedics by monitoring their activities by radio, providing them information, and ensuring their safety. And whereas public safety telecommunicators have exhibited compassion, understanding, and professionalism during the performance of their job in the past year, and now therefore be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of St. Johns County, Florida, that the upcoming week of April 12th through April 18th, 2026, be designated National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week, passed and adopted by the Board of County Commissioners of St. Johns County, Florida, this 24th day of March, 2026.
Thank you so much. I got my start here in communications. First 3 years of my legal career, I've worked for Putnam County and JSO as a dispatcher, so I have a lot of fond memories and hard knocks of remembering the job and how tough it was. So this proclamation is for the telecommunicators, for the police and fire, and I just want, if you will, just for a moment, let's give them a great round of applause for what they do. And let me invite the sheriff and the chief to say a few words.
Oh, no. Now, I'd like to thank the Board of County Commissioners, County Administration for recognizing our women and men in telecommunications. Such a hard job that they have to be able to talk on the phone and help these people in need. I've sat in there with them and watched them work, and they're just so professional. We have such a great group. But to me, just knowing that person's on the other side of the phone, and you can't help them, because for me being a fireman going on these runs, I get there, I can help. And, them being able to help behind the phone and having that helplessness feeling by not being able to help directly, but guiding us to where we need to go, getting us to the right spot, getting us that information. They have such a huge connection to the public and making sure they stay safe. And my hat's off to them. They do a great job, and I super appreciate them. So thank you.
Mr. Chair, Commissioners, thank you. County staff, thank you very much. We got a special thing going on here in St. Johns County. It's relationships and partnerships, trust, transparency. I can go on and on and on. But the fact of the matter is in the numbers. The truth lies in the numbers. And this is how it kind of looks at a bigger picture from the 30,000-foot view with 70 dispatchers at the St. Johns County Sheriff's Office. 101,000 911 calls last year. 369,000 ingoing and outgoing calls to the 911 center. But here's where the numbers kind of lie. With the 3 agencies, or actually 4 agencies, the St. Johns County Sheriff's Office dispatches for: National Park Service, St. Augustine Police Department, St. Augustine Beach Police Department, and the St. Johns County Sheriff's Office. There were 243,000 calls, or CAD calls, computer-aided dispatch calls, just to the deputy sheriffs in St. Johns County. Those are the men and women, those are the heroes that hide behind the headsets. And they're not recognized very often, but when you pick up that phone, your times in need and your dark spots of life, it's the sounding voice on the other side that walks you through the process of getting help to your front door, whether it be St. Johns County Fire and Rescue, St. Augustine City Fire, St. Augustine Beach PD, St. Augustine City PD, or the St. Johns County Sheriff's Office. So I just want to thank them. They are the men and women. I'm telling you what, every time I go out there and put a headset on, I get super nervous, I get sweaty. I've been a police officer for 32 years. There's something special about those men and women out there that work 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. So thank you for everything that you do. Mr. Chair and Commissioners and County staff, thank you for your support of this great mission of the St. Johns County Sheriff's Office and St. Johns County Fire and Rescue. Thank you.
All right, can everybody see me? All right, if I can't see you, you don't need the picture. All right, I'm going to take a couple of steps that way. Awesome. Okay. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Thank you
Thank you.
proclamation by the Board of County Commissioners, St. Johns County, Florida. Whereas the state of Florida, water management districts, and the St. Johns County Board of County Commissioners are working together to increase awareness about the importance of water conservation. And whereas April, a typically dry month when water demands are most acute, has been designated Florida's Water Conservation Month to educate citizens about how they can help save Florida's precious water resources. And whereas this year's focus will be on ensuring that outdoor irrigation systems operate efficiently by using properly functioning rain shutoff devices. And whereas by making sure these devices are installed, connected, and working as intended, our community can prevent unnecessary watering, reduce waste, and make better use of the rainfall we receive. And now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of St. Johns County, Florida, that the month of April 2026 be designated as Water Conservation Month, calling upon all St. Johns County residents and businesses to help protect our precious water resources by practicing water-saving measures and increasing awareness of the importance of conservation. Passed and adopted by the Board of County Commissioners of St. Johns County, Florida, this 24th day of March 2026.
Great, Neil, you can come up, but perfect. Hi, morning. Good morning, good morning. Good morning. Great. Well, good morning. What an honor to be able to recognize this month as that. I know for many of us here in Florida, it's hard to believe that we're going to be discussing details of a drought today. 'Cause some days it seems like it doesn't stop raining, and now look at this year. But it's such an honor, and I'm looking forward to the presentation later. And it's an honor to be able to present these proclamations today.
You know what happens when I get the mic? And Neil. Well, I want to thank you so much for recognizing Water Proclamation Month of April. It's the 28th year, which indicates that the state takes this as very serious. Oh, by the way, we're in a serious drought right now, and I won't go much into what the National Weather Service is going to brief you in item number 1, but that brief will give you the willies on just how bad our water situation is right now. Now, if you read that Water Proclamation, there's a very important part in the last paragraph that was read, and it's the rain shutoff device. Did you know that since May of 1991, any automatic irrigation system, by law, should have that installed? Now, the over-under on those that actually work today is probably 30%, because they're either installed incorrectly. How many times have you seen one under the eave? Not going to work when it's under the eave. Or if the homeowner doesn't do the maintenance to maintain it, it's not going to actually turn off the irrigation systems when it rains. So it's important if you take and you multiply the thousands of those that aren't working and shutting off when we have rain. I mean, it aggravates you when you come into your neighborhood and you see people watering their yards or the common irrigation systems, and you just got 2 inches of rain. So that's very important. And it's tying that into where we are today. If you aren't aware, we are in a modified phase 2 severe water shortage issued by the district, allowed by state statute, because of where we are, and that's for 2 reasons. Lack of rain, and we have monitoring wells, some right here in St. John's that are at or below the 10th percentile, which means the aquifer is telling us, giving a message, whoa, let's start conserving water because we got a problem here. Let me put on the young guy glasses. So I won't tell you about the national weather, because that is on item number 1. But why is water conservation important? Because it's the most important action that we can take if we expect to protect our water supplies, meet future needs, and reduce the demands on the Florida's water-dependent ecosystems, such as the springs, rivers, lakes, and the wetlands. Yes, the wetlands need moisture. All classes of water users are encouraged to reduce their water use and conserve water to the maximum extent possible, because as you will hear in item 1, it doesn't sound like this drought's going to end anytime soon. All public water supply consumptive use permittees, that's the utilities, that's the farmers, anybody who's got a well with a consumptive use permit, should institute or accelerate system-level water conservation measures that can help manage demand.
All commercial, industrial, and institutional water use should be voluntarily reduced. Here's the one where it impacts every homeowner, so this is where you can play an important part. All residential landscape irrigation is limited to 1 day a week, regardless of the time of year. 2 weeks ago, when time changed, that normally you would get 2, we're keeping everybody at 1. So obviously, please keep an eye out, remind your neighbors if you see them trying to sneak in a few extra waterings. Here's the other big part of that. As we know, winter was harsh and cold and dry. It laid waste to our landscapes. Now it's warming up, things are starting to bud. People are like, time for me to make change and get that landscape back up. We're asking you to hold off on major projects like replacing a yard or putting in the big landscape items like trees or the palm trees, because those require a lot of water to get situated. Here's one where you can have fun with your HOA, and we're actually preempting the HOAs. When it comes to washing or cleaning your buildings, structures, or outdoor impervious surfaces, such as pressure washing, compliance with homeowner association or other aesthetic standards does not constitute necessary maintenance. If you're doing it because you're prepping for painting, construction, that is allowed. But when you get that HOA letter, okay, folks, time to wash your yard, wash your driveway, let's look pretty, you can tell them, sorry, you are preempted by law. Wells are included in this order. You have HOAs that typically have wells, you have citizens who have wells, you have wells in rural areas. They all are under this order and should comply with our water restrictions. So basically, if you want to save water, there are smart things to do. It's called WaterSense. It's a label that should be on your devices. If you have Energy Star, it's built into that. Florida Water Star is a certification we have. It's like going to Jersey Mike's. You have a sub, and you can order it any way. It's a certification, but you can build your house and you can modify your house right now, because basically we are asking businesses and homes to use less water in landscapes, irrigation systems, and indoors. A Florida Water Star certified home will use about 40,000 gallons less water, and more importantly, will save you several $100s, because Neil likes to send you a monthly bill saying, hey, thanks for using my water today. Check to see if your toilet is a low flow model. And I just went through this myself. Since the mid-1990s, toilets have been redesigned to conserve water. The average leaky toilet can waste about 200 gallons of water a day. And we've all had it here that, what the heck is that going on in the toilet? I wasn't in there. You check it, just don't forget it. Install low-flow shower heads. The older the shower head, the more water it uses, and most new shower heads deliver 2.5 gallons of water per minute. Time your shower, and this is where you become friends with your teenage who like to take that shower and sing a couple songs. 5 minutes. Just like Dorothy was given in the Wizard of Oz, you turn that hourglass up, you got 5 minutes, and your shower's done. You'll be popular. When purchasing a standard-sized dishwasher, consider a model that uses 6.5 gallons of water per cycle, because today the older models use 11. Cut your water use in half. Water your lawns during the early morning or early evening hours. I like to, as an old Navy pilot, we remember things by acronyms. 10-4, or if you were a kid with a CB, 10-4. Before 10 or after 4, because you don't do it during the heat of the day where the water is going to evaporate. Maintain your irrigation system. Walking around, geez, why is my yard wet? That's a good indication that you got a leak. A leaky irrigation system is really bad news, and it's going to cost you a lot of money. You look for those wet areas. Some of them may be hidden in the bushes and you'll never see it. So now's the time to do a good check. Also, placement of the heads, you get splotches. Don't water it. Well, that brown spot, I'm going to water till that goes away. Well, then you just probably drown the 75% of your yard. Make sure you have good, efficient overlap. When it comes to pressure, it's always kind of neat to see that shower head do the mister. Oh, look at the misting. He's misting his driveway or his yard. That's efficient because most of that water is evaporating. And then obviously duration, 25 minutes or less. You can go and Google the times that you need for the grass, the types of grass. You can be a smarter person because of that. And go out and understand that little box that's in your garage where you can time it, you can set it, and you have newer models, understand how to use it. Lawn maintenance. Obviously, this is the time of year you talk about fertilizer. How many of you use reclaimed water? Most people don't realize, and I just learned this myself, reclaimed water has nutrients in it, so you can use less fertilizer. So if you use reclaimed water and you turn around and do the same amount of fertilizer, you've over-fertilized, which creates issues. It promotes more growth, invites weeds, so it's not a good thing. So just basically, water-efficient landscaping will help you save your water resources. Water-wise is a common thing. When you go to do those plants, I like perennials and I like Florida landscaping, Florida-friendly, because these plants are proven by nature over time, eons of time, to survive the conditions you have in Florida. So smart, sharply, you ask your nurseries or your landscapers to make sure you use Florida-friendly landscaping and put it in the right place. So basically, you're asking, how am I going to make a difference? I'm just one person. I'm not going to make a difference. Collectively, when you consider thousands of homes around each city, each county, it collectively is important, because if we don't protect this cheap water source, we have several hundred feet below the implications are we have to turn to much more efficient. Now that glass of water is going to be a lot more expensive to get. Most people say, well, we're surrounded by water. Throw a pipe in the ocean. It's energy intensive and it's very expensive to desalinate. So that's not the easy option. So please help us protect while we work through this, and hopefully the Weather Service has some good news for us later in the year. And obviously the utilities do great things for us, so listen to Neil, who is going to tell you some great stories on how your utility is helping you in this situation. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Doug. I've known Doug for 20 years, and I got to know him through golf, just about when he got elected commissioner of Clay County. And I can tell you his passion for water conservation is better than his passion for golf. And that's a tall order statement, okay? So that tells you, Doug brought a lot of things, and I don't want to go into a lot, but I can tell you, I am certainly proud to be privileged to be a part of a 225 plus workforce that water conservation is in our DNA. It's bred in our culture. We have so many programs in the county. I'm not going to go through them all, but valve replacement that allows us to stop leaks, reclaim water infrastructure that allows us to maximize reclaimed water. So many things. AMI, which is automated meter reading that allows leak detection. But I'm going to short all of those and say that our secret weapon is our staff. I think Dusty pointed out earlier, it's just amazing to find out what kind of staff we have. And that's why I want to recognize 3 people today. 3 are not here. One is Sean O'Connor in our meter group. He's a fantastic resource. Barry Stewart couldn't make it, our water manager. And let's see, Tony Cubbage, who has been a great environmental steward for our utility. But 2 people that I've asked to represent us today is Terry Shoemaker. There's so many things that we put together as a team, and she certainly does that for us. And I want to recognize her. And our new addition, Jennifer Watkins, she has been fantastic. She's the person that takes all this energy and puts it out in the public to let you guys know that we're good and what resources you have. The last thing I'd like to announce is we are ready to launch a new program. We're going to be the first in the state for sure, I think first in the country, to test reclaimed water meters. All our meters are smart, but I'm told that this meter is smarter. And not get into it, we'll probably have a press release, but it's so excited. Thank you again, commissioners, for supporting our all our programs, and this is great. Thank you. Thanks for the time.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion to approve the proclamations?
Second.
Okay. No. Okay, we have a motion to second. All signify in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, and that's unanimous. Thank you so much. Neil, you want to stick around for our utilities infrastructure update? You're on.
Chair Murphy, commissioners, good morning. Neil Chinker, Utilities Director. It's really an honor to provide this update ever since our administrator, Joy Andrews, initiated this infrastructure delivery program quite a while back now, you've all had several presentations, roads, utilities, parks, libraries, vertical construction, coastal projects. So we're going to step aside a little bit out of the box, and this is one of many examples that is going to bring the innovative and creative side of this infrastructure delivery program today. And also it shows you that collaboration between departments yields into high efficiency. You will see that. So we are going to talk about fire hydrants. Yes, it's those yellow, red, static fixtures that sit on street corners. That's what we're going to talk about today. All right? All of us, including our firemen, when they get close to them, they expect that water will be coming out with pressure, right? Well, like they say, there's no such thing as free lunch. A lot of stuff happens behind the scenes to make these instruments, fixtures, very reliable. So let's talk about it. So we're going to talk about why fire hydrants matter. What is the catalyst to change? So we're going to have a small change that we're going to announce to the board, which is great, and how working together can make a difference at the end of the day for our community. So firefighting, correct? And really fire protection. The big phrase I'd like to use is when it comes to firefighting, reliability is not an option. There's no ifs. It is the foundation of fire protection, okay? There's 4 things I want to share with the board and the community today. Operational readiness. There is no ifs when you open that fire hydrant. It has to work. There is no time. We talk about response time with the fire department. Ensuring fire hydrants are functional during emergencies is very important to us. Flow assurance, verifying that infrastructure can deliver the required flow for fire suppression. There's so many things that go behind the scenes. Engineering, modeling, pipes, pumps, valve maintenance, a lot. Okay, that has to happen. Without that, there is no assurance. There's no flow and volume that's needed for these fires. Strategic data. This is a little behind the scenes. When everything is done, we provide and report this data, and that data, proper data, consistency of that data, good data, allows us to have certainly an economic impact that you all have seen thanks to our fire department. I really want to recognize the chief, Dusty, Rob Dowling and his team to do an amazing job so far for what they've done to provide that impact to our county. Availability of that accurate data also supports our fire protection rating. That also helps with insurance rates. So again, we have 12,000 of these in the county, and there's 4 utilities managing this. There's St. Johns County Utilities, JEA, City of St. Augustine, and our fire department has to put this thing together for that. Okay, so what has happened? What's that catalyst to change, right? Well, I have to give 2 awards here. One is the Spirit of Innovation Award to Ms. Andrews, and the Station #1, right? That was sort of the impetus that happened one late evening when our administrator went to the station and found out from staff that things could be done better. And one of the ideas that came out, I can't forget this because I was in Punta Cana, I got this call that's 7-ish from Joy saying that, hey, we got to talk. And one thing led to another, and here we are today. And this wouldn't have happened without you all. You all supported the delivery of this program and through our resources here that we're going to talk about. So what was happening before, as I pointed out, staff, Fire Station #1 staff reached out to Ms. Andrews, talk about the difficulties they were having. Fire crews were often pulled away from emergencies. Now remember, till that time, our firemen were not only doing emergency response, firefighting, but they're also doing behind the scenes all the maintenance that I talked to you about. Now, if the fire hydrant was bad, our staff took order, but a lot of work that happened. So inspections and tests could be delayed because they had to be pulled out for an emergency call. Data collections, were challenging, and you can talk to Rob Dowling and the energy he brings to the table. It was very challenging for them to put the data towards the end of the year to report these. So really, fire crews are balancing fire hydrants, inspections, and flow testing responsibilities with the demands for emergency response. So what is changing? Well, redirecting resources appropriately to maximize efficiency. That's what we've done. That's the change, okay? It's a simple notion. Stick to the best, right? The fire department's primary mission is emergency response, so they're gonna do that. The utility's primary mission is to provide safe and reliable water. Let's stick to that. So that was really the change. It's simple, but pretty profound. So what are we doing? We are leveraging experts, right? Firefighters are experts for using the water. We're the experts for delivering that water. And really, as you, the board, approved this in FY26, we will now have a dedicated team. And talking about that, I'm going to change my hats because we have transitioned the program to utilities. So this is a utility hat, and I want to recognize Eric, Anthony, and Andrew. Can you stand up? So part of this, commissioners, is the call coming from Ms. Andrews, but a lot of happens to that. I'm just the broker in the middle. There is staff that has to recognize this effort, and this was brought to you with no rate increases. We absorbed this program. It's a very difficult feat. It's new positions, yes, but we looked at it all, and here it is. It's happening. We're going to have 4 dedicated staffers. We're not there yet, but these people had to step up right away to transition with Rob Dowling and his group. So 2 inspectors, 2 floor technicians, 2 vehicles, specialized equipment. Well, this change allows the department to focus on its core mission. I'm going to read out something that Chief McGee mentioned, and I took permission from him to read this. Our firefighters serve on the front lines of emergency response, and the community relies on from them for a rapid life-saving action. By shifting hydrant inspections and flow testing to a dedicated utility team, fire rescue personnel can remain concentrated on emergency readiness training and response operations. Chief McGee. So again, what are we going to be doing? Same thing that the firemen did for a while, perform these inspections. Now, I have talked to JEA. They've been very supportive to sort of piggyback on what we're doing, so our firemen don't have to do that. We're going to test about 20% of the fire hydrants annually. It's a lot of stuff to do. Collect and share the data. But this program is always going to be collective. We are always going to be talking to each other to make sure things are good for our community. That's the dash line. This coordinated approach strengthens both operations, and estimated 12,000 hours will be realigned to the fire department to respond to 911 calls. That is the benefit that our community is getting from this program. So where are we today? Again, vehicles have been delivered. New positions have been advertised thanks to Eric and his team to stepping up right away. They're sort of co-sharing their existing resources to get this going. Staff training is underway. Flow testing has started. Data tool development is there. We have a huge built-in dashboard tool for this. Full program, probably end of May, we should be in good shape. So really, I call this not a win-win, but a win-win-win. The fire department wins because they get to respond to where they should be responding. The utility gets to own its resources and manage its own resources, and our community benefits from this back again. So it's really a win-win. We stick to our hardware, fire sticks to the strategy, and we get a great product. So with that, commissioners, thank you.
Thank you so much, Neil, for your presentation.
Sure.
That was amazing. And
Thank you.
no additional cost to the taxpayers. That's a win-win-win indeed. Commissioner Whitehurst, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Shankry, I appreciate you bringing in, is it Eric, Anthony, and Andrew? Did I get that right? Gentlemen, I appreciate you being here, if for no other reason for me to just say thank you so much. It's because of the hard work that you're doing that you make us look good, you're making Neil look good, and our county is better off, we're safer. So thank you for all the hard work you put in. Thank you so much.
Okay. Last month, St. Johns County and our community teamed up to transform the state's Capitol courtyard into a vibrant showcase of St. Johns County local culture, cuisine, and entertainment. Together, we hosted the highly successful St. Johns County Legislative Day on the 5th of February, giving state lawmakers and their staff an immersive firsthand look at one of Florida's most dynamic counties. On behalf of the entire Board of County Commissioners, I want to thank our staff, our sponsors, and our community for rallying together to make this happen. Legislators, residents, and visitors alike experienced a day of celebration highlighting the county's unique blend of history, natural beauty, and thriving local business. Also, their frigid temperatures in Tallahassee. It was cold. All 5 members of the board traveled to Tallahassee to advocate for us as a unified front. We met with Florida representatives, including our own, but also others, to discuss our legislative action plan. Dozens of community members, businesses, and organizations, I see some that are even present here, contributed to the success of St. Johns County Day, ensuring that the legislators from Florida's 67 counties could experience firsthand our thriving economy, rich history, and exceptional quality of life. I say this all the time. We are in the best county, in the best state, in the best nation in the world today, and I appreciate each and every one of you. It's part of our ongoing efforts to put faces, places, and purpose behind the policy decisions that are made there in Tallahassee. By showcasing our culture, industries, and community initiatives, the event fosters partnerships, advocates for local priorities, and highlights why St. Johns County remains the leading destination on Florida's historic coast. We have a brief video produced by our award-winning public Office of Public Affairs that captures the sights and sounds, the flavors and feelings of that remarkable day, and we'd love to show the video.
No way.
We are so excited to showcase our beautiful county and to show off our amazing attractions, show off some of our different things that people love best, our food, wonderful cuisine, and really show the visitors that they can come experience this on Florida's historic coast.
Oh my goodness, boy, have we ever brought St. Johns County to Tallahassee. You are going to see something that it's going to be a full immersive experience. You're going to see St. Johns County. You're going to hear St. Johns County.
Viva San Agustin! Viva San Juan!
Taste it, smell it, see it, even touch it. I mean, we've got alligators. We've got all the things.
We are going to show Tallahassee why we are the most amazing county in Florida. I mean, we have St. Johns County. It's just an amazing place to call home, and I'm just super excited to. We have so many things that we're going to represent today, and who doesn't want to come to St. Johns County?
I can tell you that you're wasting your time. That's the best brisket I think I've ever had in my life. That's amazing.
Well, St. Johns County was the first county in the state of Florida from 1821, and so we're really proud to represent our state and our country. What you're going to see today is people that live in St. Johns County and that work and that play and that go to school. And so what we're going to do is we're going to showcase all of that today. We have all kinds of opportunities and tents set up. So we're going to showcase St. Johns County.
It's so fun to see the agriculture, cabbage, and so many people from our county came here and are participating. I love it.
It's so exciting to be here, the energy in the courtyard, to be able to bring so much of what is great about St. Johns County to the Capitol so that our legislators who come from 67 different counties can see what we all know makes St. Johns County so special. It's truly an exciting day. It's truly an exciting event. And so many people did so much to make this happen. It's really, I'm happy to be here. And I just can't wait to see people pack this courtyard and have a great time today.
I just cannot be more proud of our team. I mean, you guys cannot be more proud of our community, our business owners, Asada Life, Spencer, the people who serve drinks. Like, everything was amazing. And I'm just so proud to be part of this community and showcase that in front of our legislators.
Appreciate what y'all are doing for us. This is awesome. Way to get the word out for St. Johns County.
Well, it's been an overwhelming success. Congratulations to Joel and the team who really worked hard. To Shorty, who's a new addition to the team. And I say team, and I really mean that. That's what made this successful. The sponsors, the people from the area, the elected officials that came up here. All the representatives are talking about it, and that just helps us advocate for what we need back in the county because they know what St. Johns County is now.
You're going to love this. It's a great pop. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, have a great day.
Oh my gosh, this is phenomenal. Not that we should compare ourselves to other counties, but we're first in everything. First in the nation, first in culture. Y'all are first in my heart. Any other county that comes out here to the Capitol might have 3 or 4 tents. I think you guys have bundled up all of St. Augustine and St. Johns County and moved it up here. It is amazing. Every inch of space here is so representative, from our reenactors to our colleges to our restaurants to the alligator farm, TPC, the farms, the parks. Like, everybody came out here and just literally popped up the circus tents, including the circus. I mean, it's just, I've always said St. Johns County is a big, small town. We have the benefits of a big city, but that small town feel, neighbor helping neighbor, and this is depictive of it. It's amazing.
It's a tremendous event. I'm so grateful to see so many people from back home who are, who are here with us today, and I know there's a lot of folks from the community who have contributed to make this possible. We're right in the middle of the session. This is week 4, so really the midpoint. Things are definitely getting busy. I had a committee today, 9 to noon, and then 12:30 to 3:30. So I haven't been able to spend quite as much time out here as I've hoped, but I've been hearing great things from everybody who's come to see me, and so excited that we have such great representation of St. Johns County.
Okay. How about that? And it was every bit as fun and cold as you could see on that. Thank you so much, Wayne, and your team for producing that for us. We'll go right into Commissioner Joseph. Would you like to be recognized for that?
No, I was going to.
There you go. Thank you so much. If you guys would push your buttons, we'll go into the additions or deletions to the consent agenda. Commissioner Arnold.
I have none.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Joseph.
I have none.
Commissioner Whitehurst.
None, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. And Commissioner Taylor.
I have none.
Okay, and I have none. So let's go. Do we need to do public comment on the consent agenda?
Correct.
Okay.
Commissioner Taylor.
At this time, we will take public comment on the consent agenda. If anybody would like to speak on that, please come on up. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Joe Eddy. I'm going to speak on consent agenda number 22. I'm 150 Mount Vernon Street, Boston, Massachusetts. I'm the president of JE Properties, and we're the owner of residence at Oyster Creek. Was previously called Woodlawn Apartments. It's a 76-unit affordable property where all the residents pay 30% of their income towards rent. We bought it in 2021, and HUD failed it with a 41 out of 100. We put about $2.6 million of our money in, and last month we received a 92. One of our strategies is we want to give people a hand up, not a handout, and so we have a full-time resident service coordinator, and I think we made a lot of progress there. There's still a bunch to do, which is the point of this consent agenda, is doing a tax-exempt bond so we can have a whole list of things. Actually, one of the things is update our water control, it's drainage, it's stairs, it's roofs, it's windows. And I think kind of most importantly is a new sports field. We have about 200 kids there. There's not a whole lot of places to play. We actually got a variance for it from the county about 2 years ago, but right before that, there was a huge washout that happened. And that's kind of the point of kind of me coming here is, I think we want to get this project started in the fall. I think we need to work with the county on that. I know the county has been working on it. I think some of the county commissioners have been out there to see it, and I know you guys are working on grants and stuff. But basically, we hired a civil engineer to figure out how we can solve this washout issue so we can put our sports field in. There's really two things. One was the water flow on the road, and the second was water flow from the creek, the Oyster Creek, which is a county, I guess, ditch that controls stormwater. So I just want to talk to you guys. I know you're working on it. I know you will work on it. We'll get it done. But just want to highlight that. And I think the great work. I think that you guys have been supportive of improving this property. I think we have done a lot, and we're looking forward to kind of working and finishing that up. So that was it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good morning.
Good morning. Suzanne Clulo, 620 Shores Boulevard. I wanted to come up and just reinforce, when I moved here 30 years ago, that area was like, it was called the projects by most people. And that area of West Augustine was crime-ridden. It was not a good place to live. Those apartments at that time provided people a home, so they were not homeless. And as those age, those type of apartments age, they need refurbishment. They need a lot of money to get put into them so we don't lose them. So someone doesn't just come in, tear it all down, and build some commercial establishment. It's right next to the Boys and Girls Club, which is ideal. And that area, as it's undergone its revitalization, that's a key property there. I wish we could get a grocery store in that area for those people. That would kind of be the next thing. But this is a really good thing. I'm really glad that the commissioners are supporting this. There are some pockets of other affordable housing that's aging throughout the county. And we need to get on that early before they become raised and condos put there or whatever. So I'm really glad to see this, and thank you for your support.
Thank you very much. Are there any other public comments at this time on the consent agenda? Okay, seeing none, we will close that.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda. We have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a motion and a second. All in agreement say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Okay. Any additions or deletions to the regular agenda? Commissioner Arnold?
No.
Commissioner Joseph?
No, sir.
Okay. Commissioner Whitehurst? Okay. Commissioner Taylor?
I have none.
And I have none either, so that's wonderful. I'll entertain a motion to approve the regular agenda. We have a motion, and I have a second. All in agreement signify by saying aye. Okay, we're in unanimous agreement. Let's go right to public comment then.
Great. At this time, the board will hear general public comment on matters that are not scheduled for action on today's agenda. When addressing the board, please come to one of the three podiums, state your name and address. Each person will be provided 3 minutes to speak, and we ask that you speak directly into the microphone. Speakers will comply with the board's rules of civility and decorum. Speakers may not demand an immediate response from the board, and members of the audience will refrain from any disruptive demonstration or approval or disapproval of any comments. And finally, any speaker that would like to present materials, please utilize the center podium, and paper materials can be placed on the X for our overhead camera to display. And there will be a laptop set up for any USB presentations. And after presenting, please present the materials to the staff of the clerk of the court to be entered into public record. Good morning.
Good morning, y'all. Name's Hennessy, 5461 4th Street over there at Windswept Acres. Let's see here. That's supposed to come on. I don't know how to work this. Oh, Bobcat Barefoot Billy is what they call me in the neighborhood, because I have Bobcat right there in lean-to. But I sold it after I got injured. But from Florence to Harvey to Matthews to whatever hurricane we had, I'm riding around the neighborhood with my Bobcat getting stuff out in the road for people. They're trying to pay me, and I'm not taking money. One day I told the guy I was out of dog biscuits, and I came home from work, and the front porch was dog biscuits everywhere, boxes of them. But they say I'm a local legend around there. I don't know. But I got a Meritorious Citizens Award for trying to save somebody's life. I kept them alive till the EMS people got there. I learned that from Augusta Country Club, the swim team. You had to be able to do CPR to get on the swim team. And I was on the golf team and the tennis team and ping pong. That's whatever, everything they had. And so I got a good taste of playing golf, and got banned from going on the Augusta National because I snuck on there so many times and got caught. But it was worth it, I'll tell you that. But yeah, the more serious stuff is about the boat ramps. And we got 2 boat ramps. One of them is they're both real dangerous. But, because one boat ramp, these people are trying to take it over. Y'all can't read this, but it says, in no other country in the world is the love of property keener or more alert than in the United States, and nowhere else does the majority display less inclination toward doctrines which in any way threaten the way property is owned.
Okay. Thank you very much.
No. What'd you say?
Thank you.
What? I couldn't hear you.
Oh, no, I just said thank you because the time.
Oh,
the
3 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. I'll catch y'all next week.
Okay. Thank you so much. Good morning.
Good morning. Kim Schwarmer, 52 Watley Lane in Ponte Vedra Beach. We had our final hearing with you on March 3rd, 2026, and asked for our selectively enforced reduced fines of $13,000 from code enforcement and the new special magistrate to be waived. It was no surprise we were scheduled to be heard late in the day, so we would continue to incur legal costs and so that most people would be gone from the auditorium and not witness the live proceeding and be able to speak during agenda public comment. Afterwards, as we were outside talking, a total stranger that witnessed our hearing walked up and said to us that you all sure did us dirty. He understood the situation, and others do as well. I spoke with 3 commissioners several months prior, and the 2 new commissioners seemed to really understand the issue. The current chair actually told me that we were trailblazers. The other 2 that had been on the board longest would not return my calls. I spoke with Mr. Commando on several occasions, and he told me that the commission did not want to see anyone fined, including us. He said they just wanted everyone to comply, which we were the first to do under the code change. We are the reason for the code change. The commissioner from our district stated we were friends, which we have never been, but it was a way of deflecting to the current chair. In regards to friends, I have received information suggesting a similar violation was addressed differently, which makes it difficult for homeowners like us to understand the standards applied. The county is responsible for all the paver violations, not us. If there was ever concern for drainage, code enforcement should have been sending violation notices instead of being reactive. When we showed ample examples, the county ignored us and continued to selectively pursue us to remove our pavers and pay fines. When we finally reported homeowners, we were made out to be the bad guys. Our reports came from using St. Johns County Property Appraiser, the county's IMAPS encyclopedia, and drive-bys we did, not Google Earth, as one keeps stating. At our recent public hearing, one of the newest elected commissioners publicly asked and confirmed if we were the only ones that were getting fined during the time frame, when everyone else was put on hold.
Thank you very much.
It still says 56 seconds.
No,
and
that
what
means that
happened
it's
with him.
over. That
Pardon?
means-
It's showing 1 minute left, so the
Yeah, and
brief
that's
is
what
giving
happened
them
to
a
him
minute
also.
warning.
They asked if we were the only ones getting fined during the time frame when everyone else was put on hold, and County Attorney Ryan Ross acknowledged and confirmed it. Yet that commissioner still voted to impose fines against us. I encourage every citizen to watch the live TV recording of our hearing from March 3rd. Your process has been unfair. You acknowledged other properties had the same issue. Enforcement against those properties were paused, yet we were the only ones fined. How can enforcement be paused for everyone else but continue for one homeowner? What policy allows for selective enforcement like this? We have an election this year, and I encourage everyone to educate themselves and vote for someone that will stand on their own 2 feet, represent the county professionally, and all homeowners equally. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Anyone else? Public comment. Good morning.
Good morning. BJ Kalady, West City of St. Augustine. The failure of the St. Johns County Sheriff to post all mugshots excuses the actions of inmates. False imprisonment can result in lawsuits against the sheriff. This continues to jeopardize the safety of everyone in St. Johns County. The sheriff should provide an update on the 4 killings at 860 and 151 A1A North, Ponte Vedra. Allowing an ex-politician to speak to speak more than 3 minutes is discrimination. Some politicians act like rules do not apply to them, or they make them up for themselves. At the March 3 meeting, there was no explanation for allowing an individual, Susan, to speak more than 3 minutes. Nights of Lights in St. Augustine city limits will include ML King Day so businesses can make more money. Remember, cigars can be smoked on county beaches. This is discrimination against cigarette smoking. The love of money is the root of all evil. And I think everyone needs to understand that, or maybe you can tell me what the governor's salary is, because you were up there visiting Tallahassee. Anyone have an idea? It's important that salaries of people that work for us is available to everyone. And his salary is $141,000 property tax dollars. And we just saw the problem with the time. We watched the time, and some people are beeped out, and other people are not beeped out. And when you see this at these meetings, you begin to wonder why, like here, I got 59 seconds, 57 seconds, 54 seconds. We can look at that and know our time is going down. But some people get up here and don't matter what time they are speaking. And I think other people that may not be able to come to these meetings see what's going on. And it's not a good example. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Judy Spiegel. I live at 101 Greenwillow Lane. And given the date and what is coming, it would be remiss of me to not come up and talk about Easter and Passover coming up. This is the last opportunity before our next meeting. And so I just want to step out of what we're doing now and just remind everybody of God's love for us, that He is sovereign and He is our creator. And He has provided something so supernatural and wonderful for all of us. And so I just want to encourage everyone as the day approaches. I know we still have 9 days before Passover and almost 2 weeks before Easter, to just step out of the cares and troubles of this world, all of the fear and anxiety and things that are going on, and just take a moment and remember that there is a God and He loves every single person on this earth. He loves everyone. He's not a discerner. He's not a decider. He created all of us to be in relationship with Him. And He provided a way for us to do that through Jesus Christ. And so I just want to honor Him today. I want to honor this commission, every one of you. We have the most beautiful, wonderful county. And I also want to say, I'm praying for rain. I rebuke that weather report that says it's not going to rain. I don't believe that. I believe we're going to get rain. I believe rain is a spiritual thing, and I believe that rain is a physical thing. So I'm believing for God to rain down His love upon us, but also rain down His rain upon us and recharge our aquifers while He recharges our souls and our spirits, to honor Him and to love Him and to love one another. Thank you all for everything you do, and I really pray you have a wonderful, wonderful Easter season. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next, come on up. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, my beautiful commissioners. I want to also echo happy Easter to you all. I hope the holidays bring you a great spirit and great family time. I kind of want to invite the county out to March 28th. We're having Walking with the West Augustine CRA, and we're going to start that walk from Collier Block of Puryear Park to the Peace Park. If you all haven't seen that Peace Park, it is very, very beautiful. I want to thank all the commissioners for putting a hand in that. That Peace Park, now it represents West Augustine. The entry gates are coming into West Augustine. We're trying to walk down our economic development corridor, starting with the Peace Park, all the way down to the Zora Neale Hurston House, all the way down to the Ken Wright House, which is the MLK Beach House. And so with that being said, that Peace Park is adjacent to Jennison's property, which is a woodlawn called Archer Creek. And the CRA is here to support the efforts of Woodlawn Apartments and Jennison property. on that motion on consent agenda 22, item 22. So with that being said, I want to thank Jenison Property. They have done a very, very good job with that HUD project over in that area. That's the last one that we have in West Augustine. It's probably the last one we'll ever see. So we just got to be careful, make sure we take good care of it. There's a lot of residents that still can't afford to live in St. Johns County. He's bringing affordability into that complex. He's also changing the culture in the complex. The culture now has a lot of young families in there, a lot of mixed families. It's no longer just one and done. It's a variety of shift in culture. It's a shift in branding. So I am the chair of the West Augustine CRA, very, very proud of it, very proud of it. And as I sit here today, I just want to tell you, commissioners, again, thank you for all you do, and you should be proud of your county. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you very
what
much.
time? I apologize. What time? What time Saturday?
It starts 11 o'clock, March 28th. We're going to walk from Collier Blocker per year to the Peace Park. Your speaker is Dewala Willis, so she'll have something for you all to hear.
Better buckle up. Buckle up. Thank you, Mr. Nimitz.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Suzanne Calulo, 620 Shores Boulevard. I'm glad that we have kind of a light agenda here today and don't have so many people coming up here and talking about one subject. And we have a lot of different things that are being talked about. One area that I wanted to highlight and kind of concentrate on a little bit is cell towers in the county. We don't have anybody here speaking against them today. But we often do. Whenever one is proposed, it seems to bring out the masses. The fact of the matter is, I understand where people are coming from in their opposition because they don't want one right smack up against their house. But we need the cell phone service. It's an important part of our infrastructure as a county. And in the southern part of the county where I live, we really don't have very many areas where they can be put without objection. We don't have a lot of industrial areas down there where you can kind of plop one down and nobody cares. And we've got a whole southwest quadrant of the county that is agricultural now, but even with slow development, we are going to have areas that are going to start being more traffic for cell service. So what are we going to do? To me, as a county, I think we need to be a little more proactive. If we have a developer that wants to come in, can we make part of whatever deal we strike with them that they must set aside a parcel that is designated strictly for a cell tower, off in their conservation area or where they can't build, and have it there first so that when people go to buy, they know what they're buying near. In other areas, Chuck Lebanowski showed me this morning a picture of a structure that can be put on a regular light post or a telephone pole. You need about 3 or 4 of them to replace a big thing, but it sounds like something we maybe should pursue and use public property maybe to start with, to put them on. Anyway, that's my 2 cents for the day. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. Is there anybody else? Good morning. Good morning. Do I just place this? Okay, there we go. My name is Linda Hauver. I live at 417 Ocean Grove Circle in St. Augustine Beach. And I had sent you can pull the mic down. There you go. I sent all of you an email with my concerns about the proposed Sun Trail. I want to make it very clear from the beginning, this is not a not in my backyard issue.
This is an issue that's of great concern to St. Augustine Beach residents, businesses, restaurant owners, all of us who use that area. The trail was originally supposed to go down Michler. It still says on the website that it is going down Michler. Residents were not notified. We found out about this trail when pink flags were posted all along Beach Road. And we still have business owners that have not been notified. Some of the people on our committee went around and talked to restaurant owners on Monday, and that's the first they had heard anything about it. It's important that public comment and public opinion be factored into something this drastic on St. Augustine Beach's main street. This is our downtown. This is where the hotels, the restaurants, the businesses thrive. And while cycling and connectivity is a fabulous goal, this road is not the right place for that connectivity. Putting down a 12-foot asphalt path going both directions will not only disrupt the traffic on Beach Road to a tremendous amount involving safety and business interruption, it will also totally change the face of Beach Road. I know they've said that they're not going to touch the palm trees, many of whom are dedicated to deceased individuals or in honor of individuals. I can assure you, in 5 to 7 years, those palm trees will be dead. You can look it up online, construction effects on trees. With the destruction of the sidewalk, with the, with the destruction of the sidewalk, the installation of the asphalt, which will leak toxic chemicals into the soil. It will draw heat into the soil. The path will run 2 feet from their trunk. Those palm trees will die in 5 to 7 years. There are so many reasons why this area needs to be reconsidered, a new location needs to be found, and then it can be put forth in a way that will make citizens excited about something like this for our community. So I hope you'll put a pause to this. It's a worthy cause, but just the wrong location. Thank you all.
Great. Thank you so much. Are there any other public comments at this time?
Tom Reynolds, 112 Ari, 32080. First of all, it's a very slow agenda, and I am super, super disappointed that you cannot put the hazmat vape on the agenda. I beside myself that somehow this commission thinks it's okay for 4,000 to 5,000 chunks of plastic with a battery called a vape that they do not allow on the airlines to go into the trash, and you can't take it up. Well, that's why I don't think highly of this commission, because nobody up here cares about the environment. You had some phony tree ordinance that's supposed to make you some kind of environmentalist. It was the most ridiculous thing I've seen in 10 years in this room. Now, folks, I'm going to move forward, and every chance I get, lawfully, legally, and of course, always peacefully, I'm going to throw you under the bus. Taylor can verify last night I did it at the city commission meeting. She'll tell you, I threw this commission right under the bus, and I'm going to do it every time. The second thing that I want you to know is the marijuana industry. Oh my God. Big containers of plastic into the trash. The time it's going to take for that to evaporate is like 300 years. Nobody's doing anything on that. We got weed shops everywhere. It ain't the weed, it's the containers. You should be going in. If you haven't been into a vape shop and you haven't gone into a weed shop, you're failing the county residents, because it is a disgrace. And you could put a deposit on every single vape that's sold, a $10 hazmat waste disposal fee. Easy. The last thing I want to tell you is, please watch the Afro Man trial. You will learn a lot, because I have learned a lot about trials and government officials and First Amendment. That's the Afro Man trial. It's very important to watch. Thanks.
Thank you. Are there any other public comment? Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Rich O'Brien. I live at 6 F Street, St. Augustine Beach. I'm here to talk about the proposed Sun Trail on A1A Beach Boulevard. I had the privilege of serving on the Beach City Commission for 12 years. The first time I heard about the beach Sun Trail on A1A Beach Boulevard was 2019. Fast forward to 2026, the next I heard about it was at the library meeting. The residents and the businesses are unaware of this. I've personally talked to 40 people. Nobody knows about it, nothing. Next, I would like to talk about, if it were to happen, the business interruption that would take place to build this trail. My wife and I are business owners on A1A Beach Boulevard. And, you know, we've all been through COVID, and that was a big interruption. The construction of this trail would be a huge interruption with the change of the infrastructure, business access, and so on, could be catastrophic, actually. My main point today is to request that the Sun Trail, as it is proposed on A1A Beach Boulevard, be added as an agenda item for this commission. As I said, people do not know about it. They should know about it. We had the meeting or the presentation at the library. There was a big, nice roll plot, which was great. It was wonderful information. But it led to more questions than answers. So I think that the Florida Department of Transportation should be there. I think that the county should be there. I think that the company that's designing the trail should be there. And there should be a question and answer session also. To show the cooperation between the county and the city of St. Augustine Beach, in 2018, then Commissioner Margaret England had talked to the commission about approaching the county to change the lanes of A1A Beach Boulevard, to narrow them slightly, so that they could be added a 5-foot bike lane on the east side and the west side. And I'm pleased to say the county did say, okay, that did happen. It was restriped, and now there has been 2 nice bike lanes on either side. I will say that that did nothing to change the character of our city, nothing. I don't think we could say the same thing if this trail were put on the east side of A1A Beach Boulevard. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next. Good morning.
Good morning, all. My name is Mary Grace Drucker. I live at 421 Ocean Grove Circle, St. Augustine Beach. I'm here today to speak regarding the safety concerns by placing the Sun Trail along A1A Beach Boulevard. The Florida Department of Transportation Handbook, entitled Implementing Florida's Shared Use Non-Motorized Sun Trail Program, emphasizes that safety is a central goal of this Sun Trail. On page 18, safety is identified as a key component of this trail. I ask you, commissioners, to please, when you are reviewing and evaluating the proposed placement of the Sun Trail along A1A Beach Boulevard, that you carefully consider whether this location meets safety standards. Beach Boulevard presents some unique risks. Along the east side of Beach Boulevard, there are over 50 access points to Beach Boulevard, including 14 crossover streets from east to west. Placing a multi-trail to Beach Boulevard increases the likelihood of conflict between cyclists, pedestrians, motorists,
and residents trying to enter and exit their homes. The trail is especially dangerous at the southern end, where A1A Beach Boulevard merges into State Road A1A. This is a high-risk area. It's an area where accidents or even fatalities may occur, and probably will. Emergency responses is another critical issue on the east side of Beach Boulevard. We now have a fire department on the east side, and we all know that emergency vehicles rely upon a clear and efficient access to the road. Just the other day, I heard 4 sirens going up and down Beach Boulevard. Every second matters, as you know, when emergency responders are trying to get to a person who is in need. I wonder, once this trail, if it is placed there, will the motorists be able to quickly and safely get out of the way of emergency vehicles going up and down this multipath? I wonder also, can Beach Boulevard really be an area that would use a trail that would compromise safety? I think that placing it there has to be thought about, spoken about, and have all citizens be involved. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
For your patience.
Thank you
and
very much.
for carefully considering what I had to say.
Thank you so much. Anyone else for public comment at this time? Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Beth Pelzer. I live at 461 Ocean Grove Circle in St. Augustine Beach. I'm also here to talk about the Sun Trail. We are not against bike paths or walkability. We think it's a wonderful thing. We already have on both sides of Beach Boulevard sidewalks as well as a bike path. We also have sidewalks and bike paths on both sides of A1A. As has been said, the original path for this was to go down Sandlander to Pope Road to Michler. Michler has an 8-foot wide sidewalk. It is only intersected by 2 streets, 11th and 16th. It also has some beautiful trees. There are only homes on one side of the street, one side, 2 access points. That sidewalk, that 8-foot sidewalk also continues. There's a slight jog to the west. That sidewalk continues all the way down to F Street, where it's less than a quarter of a mile to A1A, where there are bike paths and sidewalks on both sides of the streets. Out of curiosity, I went to see what the finished bike paths look like down in Flagler and Volusia County. Lo and behold, they are concrete sidewalks. They do not have sidewalks on both sides of the street, only on one. So the need also in canvassing the homeowners, businesses, restaurants, all along we only got to the east side of A1A, Beach A1A. None of them knew about the shift from Michler to Beach. Not one. The first time they heard about it was at the open house, which was not really a question and answer. It was basically, this is a done deal. You can do nothing about it. That's what we were told. We would like this to be considered as an agenda item to be spoken about. It is not safe to place it on the east side of Beach Boulevard. We suggest it goes back to the original proposal of going down Michler, which is much more picturesque. Love A1A, but it is not picturesque. And it is also very dangerous to have all those entry points where you have bicycles. And are you going to have a flashing light at each place it intersects? Because otherwise, cars have to pull all the way out into that 12-foot path to make a turn, right or left. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, come on up. Good morning.
Morning. I'm Gloria Worley. I live at 201 Shirley's Way, St. Augustine, but we own a business, Mango Mangoes, on A1A Beach Boulevard. We are highly impacted by this sun trail. We were not made aware of it. We only found out through grassroots notification from a few of the people that called and let me know. I know other people along that strip that are owners of businesses do not know about this sun trail. I mean, the meeting at the city, St. Augustine Beach, was the first that I was actually aware of it. I missed the library meeting. But my whole thing here is nobody was notified. Now, when you're making a change to somebody that impacts them, you should be notified. This is common in our county. If there's somebody going to do something, we didn't know about this, so it's not fair to us, number one. Number two, who's impacted by this? We are. All along A1A Beach Boulevard, all the business owners are impacted. No one knows about it. This is very huge and important to us. You're affecting our business. We've already went through this with COVID. You're going to do this during the summertime, which is ludicrous. You want to shut down the businesses? You're going to do it. We are on the corner of A1A and Beach Boulevard. That corner is so busy. It's crazy to think about that. When we watch emergency vehicles go by, you're having a 3-lane, a 12-foot wide bike path, walking path. You're combining the two. You might as well ask for accidents to happen. This is ridiculous. What happened to single file bike lanes? I thought that was, we were taught that from little children on up. Single file all the while. Well, now we're going to have people walking and bicycles in a 12-foot path. This is crazy. This is not the location for it. Move it over. If you go and look at any other sun trail places, this is not in a little beach strip like this. This is a 1-mile island beach. This is going to change the whole concept there. I guarantee you, people on vacation, there's 7 or at least 8 hotels and condominiums along that 1 mile, and nobody's packing a bicycle in their suitcase. When they come on vacation, it's not to bicycle. That is a walking area. If you were down there for 4 or 5 days, you'd see it. We see it every day. It's not needed. You might as well have motorcycles coming down. It's going to invite 3 people in a row on a bicycle coming down. It's going to be dangerous, I guarantee you. You need to rethink it, put it on your agenda. I think the public should be made aware, and we should be notified when you do something this drastic to our businesses. We pay taxes. We pay the bed taxes. We pay for you all to do all this stuff. This is a waste of our money.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Richard Worley, 201 Shirley's Way, St. Augustine, one of the owners of Mango Mangoes. And first time we heard about this was at the city meeting, and a lot of people have been talking about a lot of different things up here. Nobody's mentioned what's come into place in the last few years. Electric bikes. Now you got electric bikes, you got pedestrians, and you got bicycles. And that is going to really be a disaster. I don't know if we're going to wait for someone to get killed or what, but I can see that coming. Plus, it just takes away from the beauty of the beach. If you have never, I don't know where people live, but you need to come down and just hang out at the beach and watch what's coming out of the hotels, what's going up and down the streets. It's busy, and we're happy it's busy, but it's got to be very safe. We don't want red flags or people to say, well, be careful when you go to the beach. It's like going to St. George Street. You know, when was the last time you were on St. George Street? You probably don't go very much anymore because there's no place to park. You know, anyway, that's all. I just want to really repeat what Gloria and Rich have said. It's got to have, we got to be thinking about this for a while. It's got to be on the agenda, and the public needs to know about it. Nobody knows anything about what's going on down there. So I do appreciate the time. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other public comments at this time? Come on up. If there's anybody else, please come up and.
Good morning.
Good
I'm
morning.
Chris McCarroll. I'm at 28 Bermuda Runway. So I'm representing our association. So we're on the east side of Beach Boulevard, and we're a small community. We have 31 properties. We have, in essence, 62 residents. We have 40 cars. So And each of us go in and out of our gate, pull onto A1A Beach Boulevard twice a day. So that's, it adds up to 160 crossings of this bike path every day. What we're going to have to be trained to do is look to the right. So if anyone's lived abroad in a country where you drive on the left-hand side of the road, which I have, they paint signs on the sidewalks to look right, because you're going to get hit by a bus. We're going to get hit by an e-bike, as just was said. So our biggest pushback on this is safety. To cross this 12-foot lane to get onto our two-way road, we're very happy with the bike paths that are on A1A Beach Boulevard right now. I mean, they're legally flow with traffic. They actually give us space when the emergency vehicles are coming down the Beach Boulevard. They come down the middle lane, which is a turn lane. We're going to lose any place to pull off when the new Sun Trail comes in. So our pushback, and I agree with the speakers that just spoke, that this needs to be an agenda item, and it really, really needs to be rethought of. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Are there any other general public comments at this time? Please come on up. Okay, seeing none, we will close public comment.
Okay, let's go right into agenda item number 1. Pardon me just a minute. Commissioner Joseph, you have the floor.
Yes, sorry, I know this is out of order, but I think because everyone cares on the board about people, I would think everyone would want this as an agenda item, don't you think, regarding the Sun Trail, with all these people here today? Was there any consensus to do that?
Commissioner Whitehurst, you recognize?
Yeah, I know that they're going to have it on the agenda out in St. Augustine Beach. Their commission is hearing this as a regular agenda item. I've got no issue. I just want to make sure that we have a full history of the funding mechanism, if there were any modifications or changes to the trajectory of the path. I want that all to be included in the presentation so we can
Absolutely.
get a full understanding of the Sun Trail.
Chair Murphy, do you?
I don't have a problem with it being an agenda item. I mean, that's really what we're here for, is to listen to every side of every issue. So I don't have a problem with it. I don't know who is funding this. So where's the money comes? Is this a state funded? Greg, you have any questions? Do you have any answers for me? Is this a county project? Is it a state project, or is it a beach project? Who's got the authority to make the decisions here? I guess I should say. If we don't have the authority, there's no reason for us to have an agenda item.
So Greg Caldwell, Public Works Director for St. Johns County. Right now, the county has an agreement with the DOT to receive funding for the design of this project right now. So we have accepted about $730,000 from the DOT to start and initiate the design effort of this project. So that is ongoing. That's where we are in the phase. We do not have construction dollars. There will most likely be in the 27, 28 DOT work program. So this is 100% funded by the state project. The reason why the county is initiating and overseeing this project is because it's within the county right of way. A1A Beach Boulevard is a county road. So there's 260 miles of this trail that are underway right now in some fashion. We build the portions within St. Johns County. The DOT builds portions within the DOT right of way, as well as the city of St. Augustine. They build their portion. And we'll be happy to come back in the future with an update on the project, if that's the board's desire.
You okay?
I don't have a problem with an agenda item to discuss. Yeah, we can do that. Okay. Now let's move to agenda item number 1. Good morning.
Good morning. How are y'all?
Good.
Great. I am Chairman Murphy, Commissioners. Thank you. My name is Scott Cordero. I'm the meteorologist in charge at the National Weather Service in Jacksonville. I'm also a native of St. Johns County in the Marbella area. And I agree that St. John's is God's country. And I really appreciate the pray for rain and pray for to rain down during Easter as well, spiritually as well. Great prayer. I want to go into detail pertaining to our drought situation, and it kind of stems back in history, short history, and I'll show some pictures of that. We've been very blessed, and somewhat what we used to call it in Texas, I moved here 13 years ago, 5 of the 7 years over there was drought. And so we used to say, we really need rain with a name. As I came across, and we didn't have any names, what I mean storms come across that area. And that's a lot of times where our rainfall comes from, particularly in the summertime, as well as the sea breezes, and I'll get a little bit more into that as well. We have an exceptional drought across the First Coast, and we also have an extreme drought that's over the Swanee Valley, which is part of North Florida as well. And it's the most expansive across the region since 1999. And first time since 1999, all of Florida is in moderate drought or worse. And we have an increasing wildfire risk and agricultural stress and numerous county burn bans, particularly west of St. John's. We don't have one in St. John's at this particular time, but I'll show you some of the counties that do. When you have to look at the drought, you have to look, hey, how much are we departing from normal? And where does this fall in terms of a historical perspective? We look forward to it. And right now, we're the third driest in the St. Augustine area since 1974, with 13.38 inches between August 25th and March 21st. And so 2 reasons for that is a dry tropical season that I talked about earlier, and also La Nina, where the jet stream is further north with this type of pattern. Particularly over the Ohio and Mississippi River valleys as opposed to across Florida, which happens during El Nino. And so we had numerous and extended duration freezes. If you all remember in December, when they ran the Donna up north of us in Duval County, they had wind chills of 8 degrees at the start of that, and very cold and dry air mass after that. So that contributed to the dryness as well. We've had a number of fronts. So looking at last year's tropical season impact, you could see we call them as meteorologists fish storms. They go out to sea and really have no impact on the mainland. And so in Florida, we didn't have any landfalls during this particular time, and that's a godsend, most certainly. But we had also a lack of rainfall at this particular time. And so we kept the tropical cyclones east of the region, and the closest one to us was Imelda, which it looked a little hairy at first before it made that right-hand jog during the latter part of the tropical season last year. So looking at the 3-month trend, this is from November 21st, 2025 to March, almost right now, we have a deficit of about 4 to 8 inches across the First Coast and all in Northeast Florida. And we did receive about 4 to 8 inches in that time frame. And so if you add on to that, we normally get about 12 inches to 15 inches across the First Coast during that time span, and we're in net deficit. And looking at 90 and 30-day rainfall totals, we only received, in the 90-day time frame, we only received 25 to 50% of our normal rainfall. And also in the 30-day, we were a little bit more better. We had about 50% of our normal rainfall at that particular time, except the southern part of the county, when we had some rainfall down there by 207 and also Flagler Estates on the 15th and 16th of March. And so I'll go a little bit into that as well. Here's the 7-day rainfall trend over the last 7 days. We did have that aforementioned rainfall on the 15th and 16th. We had, most areas had a ½ inch to an inch during that time. And across Northeast Florida, we had about 2 to 3 inches in some isolated locations. A lot of times that rainfall kind of just runs off because the ground is so dry, and it goes into the sewer system or in the riverine areas as well, or low-lying areas. And to our north in southeast Georgia and the Swanee River Valley, it's even more drier than we are along the First Coast in St. Johns County. So this is March 15th and 16th. Most of the county received 0.75, 3/4 of an inch to 1 1/4 inch of rainfall. Now, portions of Flagler Estates down in the southwest part of the county had 1.5 to about 3 inches of rain. In the farm fields just north of 207 and north of Vermont Heights received 2 to 2.5 inches of rain. But those are kind of just isolated spots, and just so you could feel the crunch in your lawn if you don't water regularly. You're only supposed to do it once a week, right? And so weekly totals of 1 to 2 inches, if we got that going all the way through May, we'd still be in a deficit, and it would just only be good for the top layers of the soil. And you really need to have significant pockets of rain between now and May to improve that. It doesn't look like it at this particular time. So first time since 1999, Florida has been in a moderate drought or worse. And consideration for mutual aid resource agreements may be needed from the First Coast to our interior counties, where they're even in a worse shape than we are at this particular junction. And so here's a zoom in. The National Weather Service is responsible all the way from the Altamaha in southeast Georgia, all the way down to the villages down in Marion County. And we have the St. John's and the First Coast as our responsibility too. So that's why you have that snapshot like that. You can see the D4, which is exceptional drought in Eccles, Suwannee, and Hamilton counties, first time since 2012 in that region. And it may expand eastward with time with that and only exacerbate things. And this is updated on our drought monitor, updated every Thursday, and it's done through a shared partnership with the Climate Prediction Center and the National Weather Service in Jacksonville. I just want to look at past precedents in the 21st century. And looking ahead, you can see all the wildfires that these are during times of either extreme or exceptional drought, looking back at the annals of since 2000. And if you recall, previous to this timeline in 1988 and 1999, Flagler had their devastating fire across 95 during that particular time as well. So I just wanted, and look where we are right now, and it's very parallel and congruent to what we've seen in the past as well. So most of the fires that did occur in that area that we serve had occurred in the Okefenokee area in southeast Georgia. But in 1998, just south of us in Flagler during exceptional drought as well. To our neighbors to the west in Clay County, this is the first and second lowest records on both the South Prong and the North Fork of Black Creek as well, to just put it in perspective to our neighbors to our west there. And we have an index that we use, and it accounts for transpiration and evaporation. And we're getting into that growing season across Northeast Florida. And it's called the thirst of the atmosphere. It's called Evaporative Demand Drought Index, and it's a proxy for average moisture pulled from the atmosphere. And you can see a lot of the maroon and reds over there. And we do have reds and more of the copper colors, which is really the percentiles of the driest percentages across the region. And you can see that drought's not only across Florida and Georgia, but it really extends all the way from the western Gulf to all the way to the Ohio and Mississippi River valleys as well. So we're in a desperate need of a couple systems to go through. And we will see, I was looking at the models of the European and also the American GFS. It looks like we really don't get any really good rain until about April 11th, 12th, 13th, right around there. And so now that is a little bit in la-la land in terms of models, but it goes out all the way to 360 hours, both those particular models. And it doesn't look very good till about after the 11th and 12th of April. So we are expecting some rain today or tonight and also tomorrow, but it's going to be maybe less than an inch. And so hardly put a dent in our soil moisture as well. The state of emergency is across the state of Florida. I'll look at the stream flows, especially the areas that were responsible for the Santa Fe, the Suwannee, and the Saltillo rivers. They're no longer accessible to the canoers because it's so dry and it's below the water line. Gilcrest, Santa Fe has sandbars visible over there. So what happens out west is also a precursor to what's going to happen if it spreads eastward as well. We have this index called the Keach-Byram Drought Index, and it tells you how the fuels for fire, and I'll explain what that means a little bit. We're currently averaging about 405 for the KBDI, and what does that mean? It means there's a lot of lower litter and duff layers contribute to fire intensity will burn very actively. And what causes that, or how does it start? It could be man-made, it could be from campsites, it could be a lightning ahead of a system, or it could be maybe a sea breeze later on in April where maybe somebody was camping and their embers pushed the opposite direction of where they thought they were going to happen. So larger fuels could burn or smolder for several days. So kind of keep that in mind, and this is updated daily, the Keach-Byram Index, but it's slow to react because of the bigger nature of the fuels, timber that we're talking about there. So we talked about that. I won't park on this too long. Again, the phase 2 water shortage and what it means. And we talked about that earlier. And then the precipitation outlook. Stalling fronts and sea breezes. Again, this midweek we'll have a chance of rain. After that, it's not till about April 12th or so. So a little long-term drought relief. Again, watch outs for wildfires, lightning starts, and breezy winds from sea breezes and pre and post frontal thunderstorms. And also the 6 to 10 day outlook. We look like we're going to be about normal for our precipitation outlook, but again, we're going into one of the driest months of April. So what normal is, it's not very much. So we'll be about normal for our rainfall. And 6 to 10 day outlook is above about 33 to 40% chance above normal temperature. So you're going to get more evaporation during that particular time. And also here's the 8 to 14 day, again, about normal for the rainfall, but again, it's normal for this time of year is dry. And also for above normal temperatures, which leads to more evaporation and drier conditions. The seasonal outlook, there is some promising hope. And it's the very last slide. I want to leave you a glimmer of hope. It's on the right-hand side, the 3-month temperature outlook, April through June. And we're expecting above normal temperatures, but we're also expecting the probability of above normal precipitation, about 33 to 40%. And our sea breeze season is getting going, usually climatologically just before Memorial Day, and it goes all the way till about the first week of October. And so there's hope there for, but one thing I learned in Texas when I was the meteorologist in charge over there in Corpus Christi, a lot of times when you have drought, it often is a precursor to deluge. So it's something to kind of watch out for. Hopefully it's just incremental and we come out of it in that particular way. But just lessons learned in a 35-year career, things kind of happen that way with the equal and opposite reaction. And a drought outlook, again, persisting in April. And here is where you can see the progression of it kind of lessening with time. And you'll see June 2026, and keep our fingers crossed that that holds sway and holds true with the sea breeze to kick in, and it'll give us some relief. And we got a couple products for wildfires. We worked with the forestry, both on the state side and the U.S. side, federal side. And we have this public product that we issue. We have a fire weather watch and a red flag warning. And there's criterion associated with that, and also timelines associated with that. A red flag warning is put out less than 24 hours. And a fire watch, we can put that out about 3 days in advance. We've already had a couple of them associated with that. And so again, there's a 24-hour notice and 1 to 3 day advance. And the criterion is basically very low humidity, strong winds, and very receptive fuels to catch on fire. And so we work with the Forestry Service in conjunction with them and coordinate with them how the fuels are doing. And they have a really good website with that as well. And we have an annual operating plan that we meet with them every year to discuss those thresholds as well. Oops. And getting back into the criteria, here's the Northeast Florida criteria for either a red flag warning or watch. Watch is anticipated. Red flag warning means it's happening or it will be imminent. And winds 15 miles an hour. Gusts are not considered. Humidity 28% or lower. And a fire potential, a moderate risk or high risk. And right now we're in a moderate risk, but our humidity levels are a little bit higher today and tomorrow. And the winds are kind of low because the front is stalled right over us, so it's light winds right now. And how do you get this fire weather intelligence? And here's several methodologies that you can get on our webpage. And here's where you can download the code and websites as well. And with that said, you all have any questions?
I just have one. Wayne, are we tied into their fire watch red flags system? So if they put out an alert, we can piggyback off of that and project it onto our county stuff? Thank you. Public Relations Director.
Oh, okay.
Wayne Larson, Director of Public Affairs. Yes, our office is tied into our Office of Emergency Management. So when they send out information from the Weather Service or other sources, we parallel that into our communications through social media and other outreach efforts. So yes, in fact, we sent out a notification a few weeks ago pertaining to this exact information, alerting our citizens to be weather aware.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. One other thing before I turn it over. Did I see an indication that maybe sometime by July 4th that we might be out of this severe drought and fireworks won't be affected? Is that a crystal ball?
I wish I had a crystal ball, and the chances are pretty high once we get into the sea breeze season that it will knock things down incrementally.
It will be okay. Thank you so much, Commissioner Whitehurst. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I know Commissioner Taylor and I heard this presentation at the NEFRC, and Ms. Agnetti, who made the presentation there, sort of indicated that, as Mr. Cordero said in the outset of his comments, that without rain with a name, essentially without a depression or a storm or some soaking event sitting over this area, we're not going to get out of this for quite some time. And every year there's some kind of drought, but every indication from the Water Management District and from the National Weather Service that I've seen indicates that this one is far more severe than the yearly thing that we see every year. So I don't want people to get complacent. I know the fire chief is highly aware of the situation. I know our staff is highly aware of the situation, but just as leaders in our community, it behooves us to pass this along to the residents that this is a severe drought situation. Not only are fires at risk, but just conservation of water should be a priority.
Thank you. And I think Doug Conkey's presentation this morning was also apropos for us. We really need to start taking conservation seriously. Anything else on the board? Thank you, Scott. I appreciate the time and the effort. We don't need public comment on this, do we? Let's go right into agenda item number 2 then.
Good morning, Commissioners. Shelby Romero, Senior Assistant to the Board of County Commissioners. At the November 4th, 2025 BCC meeting, you as a board approved to establish the Ag Advisory Committee. So in doing so, I posted a vacancy ad, and that ran for about 4 months. Prissy worked diligently to provide us 7 applications for 7 positions. If you have any questions?
Fantastic. Any questions for Prissy or Shelby? All right, let's go. Commissioner Joseph, you recognized?
I think it would be great. Can we go ahead and make a motion? Is that all right? Okay, I'd like to make a motion to appoint Jackie Dobish and Bill Hamilton and Frank Johns to the Agriculture Advisory Committee, each for the first full term of 2 years, and to appoint Brian Jones, Charles, Chuck Owen, Scott Parker, and Christine Wilson, each for the first full term of 3 years, all terms commencing on April 1st, 2026.
Okay, we have a motion.
I'd love to second.
We have a motion and a second. We need public comment for this.
Correct.
Okay, we'll go to public comment.
Okay, at this time, we will take public comment on agenda item number 2. Seeing none, we will close public comment.
Okay, back to the board. I see no one requesting to speak. Let's vote. And that passes 5-0. Great job, everybody. I want to commend the staff for doing a great job. We have an amazing group of people from the farming community that are represented on this, and I applaud everyone's job. Thank you, Christine. It was cold in Tallahassee. I know it was. So we did a great job for that. Okay, let's move on to commissioner reports. Commissioner Arnold. Commissioner Arnold, you are. Anything to report?
Nope, nothing to report.
Thanks, Commissioner Joseph. You have the floor.
Thank you, sir. And I do want to announce that I am running for re-election, and I appreciate everything that the board does, and I'd like to continue it on. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Whitehurst.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to have Greg Caldwell come up for a moment, just based on some community emails and phone calls and text messages that I'm getting in my district. I'm sure y'all are getting some in your district. So I wanted to have Mr. Caldwell come up and address those.
We always like it when Greg comes up.
Yeah, me too. Good
Thank
guy.
you very much. I appreciate that. Greg Caldwell, Public Works Director.
So, Mr. Caldwell, as you know, it is March, and yard waste is on the curbsides, and there's tonnage exponentially increases every March. If you'd please just kind of walk us through why yard waste is harder to collect this time of year than it is the rest of the year.
Right. March Madness is just not for basketball. It's definitely for yard waste, especially this year with a lot of the cold snaps that we had. There's been a lot of foliage that is taking its way out to the curb right now. Each year we prepare for March and April. We understand this is the busiest season for yard waste. We actually have it in our contract for additional resources to come in through our service provider, FCC. They've actually brought in 4 additional trucks, 3 additional grapple trucks, a mechanic, and other people and staff just to address March and April, and it's still been challenging for us to keep up the service to the level that we expect. Usually March and April is about double the yard waste of any other typical month. So that's what we're seeing right now. We are seeing the high levels as expected, but also the challenges of trying to keep things open, trying to keep people working at their DOT allowable hours and in a safe manner. One of the things I would love to bring up is our guidelines for yard waste and how people can help us be efficient in our movement. Please make sure things are under 50 pounds, under 6 feet in length, bagged, containerized as much as possible. In St. Johns County, we are unlimited, so you can actually put out there as much as you want if it meets these guidelines, and we will collect it. But some people are doing that along their whole frontage. There are areas that we send the grapple truck out there. We try to use the bigger equipment when we see a large pile that would be better served by a different piece of equipment. But we do appreciate everybody's patience. We are working every day. We are working Saturdays to try and get everything off the right of way as much as possible.
And Mr. Caldwell, this happens every year. This is not new. So this is a question I'm getting from my residents in Julington Creek Plantation and along Longleaf Pine Parkway and 210 is, this must be something because we have a new vendor. This was happening when Republic Services was the vendor. This would happen with any vendor because there's just too much.
I will say every March and April, it's always been a struggle, no matter who was providing the service to St. Johns County. Back in COVID, we had many issues with picking up yard waste, but this is an occurrence that happens annually. We try to staff up, we try to bring in additional resources, but this goes back as long as I can remember working with solid waste that we've had these issues during this time frame. Our goal is to get through it as quickly as possible, work as hard as we can, but this is a known concern on March and April of each year. We do bring in additional resources, but the high volume, literally we are seeing double the amount of yard waste on a daily basis.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Caldwell. I don't know if anybody else has any questions, but I just want to get that on the record for my benefit, for the benefit of the board, and the benefit of those who might be listening. My next thing is I just want to say thank you to this board, Commissioner Taylor, Murphy, Joseph, and Arnold. I was able to enjoy spring break with my family, took the kids up to the Northeast and showed them a lot of cool things, and that was only possible because we had spring break off, so I wanted to thank each and every one of you. I know some members of our staff were able to enjoy spring break with their children too, so thank you so much for that. And finally, happy Easter. Obviously, as Christians, this is the time where we celebrate the death, burial, and resurrection of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. So for those who celebrate, happy Easter.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Taylor.
Great, thank you very much. Yes, I did want to share that I did attend the City of St. Augustine meeting last evening. Very hot topic of the night was regarding Night of Lights. They did pass an ordinance last night that will solidify the dates because that has been very much a concern. We've heard that since they shortened Night of Lights in January, that had really a negative impact on so many people, especially those that work in the industry, with significant income loss. It's such a critical time when people still have to pay their bills and that just because tourists aren't in town. I did remind them there was a lot of feedback regarding the city and the county doing more together, and I reminded them that we have been speaking more, we have been doing more, and I also reminded the residents that the county did, and we all agreed to increase the allotment that we helped them out with to $850,000. So I did want to make sure that that was clear, that did go up from the $250 that we normally do. But I did want to share that. The dates, although they will still be shortened, they're going to keep it at 8 weeks for Night of Lights. It will start the Saturday before Thanksgiving, and then it will go through MLK weekend. So that 3-day weekend, that holiday weekend is really what is so critical. So they're going to stay on through that weekend, and then they will start to take them down that Tuesday right after MLK weekend. So I know a lot of people were very relieved to hear that. The other thing that we hear often is that there are a number of people within the county that do like to attend and try to avoid the real busy time of year for Night of Lights, and that ends up being January. And so by being shortened this past year, there was very little time for residents to actually go in and experience the Night of Lights. So I'm very, very pleased that there'll be more dates in January that people can attend. Also, I did want to, hearing so much regarding property taxes, we know that our legislators can be having a special session. That's clearly a big topic regarding what's going to happen with our property taxes. And I think there's a lot of confusion. It came up last night even at the meeting regarding property taxes, what goes into that. So I would love to ask the staff if they could share, I think, with the public, just a little bit more information regarding our property taxes, where that comes from. I know there's a lot of talk that we have an almost $2 billion budget, and not everybody understands that a lot of that is not property taxes. But I do think that we do need, especially at such a critical time, that we do need to educate a little bit more. So I would love to have the staff maybe do something and just kind of share what portion the county actually has out of that almost $2 billion. So I'd love to ask the staff to come back with that. And then also, Happy Easter. Happy Easter to those that celebrate, very special time of year. And that will do it. So thank you.
Thank you so much. That's great. I would like to share her request. Jesse, if you would help me out with that. That's really been a hot topic lately, is making sure people understand what our budget is, where the money comes from, and where the money goes. I know it's online, I know it's available, but sometimes we need a little guidance to really understand the nuts and bolts. Because when you say you got a $1.8 billion budget, people think that you're bringing in $1.8 billion every year, and that's not the case for us. So we just want to kind of, I would like to piggyback with her and add my voice to Commissioner Taylor's that we get something on for the next meeting or so to where we have an understanding of that, especially going into the budget season. So thank you. I don't really have anything, so let me push it over to Ms. Andrews. Do you have anything for your administrative report?
Sure. Thank you, Chairman. I would like to give a very brief update because the legislative session has adjourned on the 13th of March. Many bills are still unconclusive because we're anticipating another special session in April because we don't have a final budget for the state. So that is their primary goal, is to pass the state budget. The 20th of April is going to be another special session for redraw of the congressional district. So we also got signal from the governor that seems like there is going to be a third special session to talk about tax reform, talk about AI Bill of Rights, among other things. So there are many things that we are tracking and monitoring. Christine, Maribeth and their team is working very hard to making sure that we're tracking all of the bills. But one of the bills that we wanted to bring to your attention is also on the governor's desk, which is House Bill 0399. It includes some preemptive language for local government to lose sort of our control on how we're going to govern our land use. Christine is here if you have additional questions, but primarily in gist is that it's going to govern our ability to, lessen our ability to really require our applicants in terms of certain type of analysis and what type of evidence we have to deem them to be compatible or not compatible. So our request today is for you to discuss, and if it's your desire to submit a letter of advocacy for the governor to veto that House bill. That would be our recommendation. But if you have any questions, Christine can absolutely bring some more details to you on this bill.
Okay. Anyone? Commissioner Taylor, you're
Yes,
recognized.
no, I absolutely support a letter going out to asking him to veto. And I don't know if there's anything Christine can share at this time or if that would be in the future, but I would love for you to
Yeah, come up.
come on up and just share a little bit so we know exactly how bad this one is.
Yes, good morning, Christine Valier, Economic Development Director and Interim Intergovernmental Affairs Director. This is a preemption bill. There are many components. I think the most concerning one is around the limitation of the compatibility analysis in quasi-judicial hearings when it pertains to residential zoning and residential zoning in the same changes in the same future land use designation. So it proposes to narrow the range of evidence that may be considered to support a denial. So you will have to look at measurable comparison only, density, setbacks, buffers, things of that nature. So character of the neighborhood is one of the factors that you would not be able to consider anymore. It would also require the board to make very specific findings for each rezoning action that falls into this category, detailing why the proposal is not compatible and why any mitigation efforts that an applicant may propose to you to address incompatibilities are not sufficient. So that will require more staff time. As you know, staff reports are prepared by growth management well in advance of your public hearing. Your public hearing process often allows an extended time to gather more information, a lot of information that's not available at the time that staff is drafting reports. It also reduces reliance on public testimony regarding character of the neighborhood, and potentially could expose the county to litigation risk if the findings are not supported by the defined standards in the statute or the proposed statute. So if this bill were to become law, it would likely require the county to revise its comprehensive land use plan and the overall plan regarding public hearing processes for rezonings, as well as updating the land development code. So.
Commissioner Whitehurst.
Thank you, Commissioner Murphy. I don't have any questions, but just a statement. I think this is just another reminder. And first of all, let me say I fully support sending the letter asking the governor to veto 399. Of course, we should stand up against every preemption. Of course, having more local control is better for us and our residents, and so I support sending the letter to the governor. But this is another reminder that we need to be as careful as possible when making statements as county commissioners. Private property rights are a cornerstone of this country. It is one of the reasons that we fought the Revolutionary War. not just taxation without representation, but to have autonomy over your private property. And anytime a commissioner, not just on this board, but around the state, makes general statements, I would say an admission of their bias against private property rights, against development, as a general statement, you're prejudicing yourself against any application that may come forward. How can you fairly view an application and consider the competent substantial evidence when all you do is walk around telling everybody how against development you are every day? That is not respecting the rule of law. It is not respecting one of the founding principles that this country was built on. So this is, again, another reminder that if we do not adhere to the laws on this board and follow the private property rights laws that are in place, then the state will continue to restrict our ability to hear applications. They'll do our job for us if we don't do the job right here.
Thank you, Commissioner Joseph.
It's just interesting who gets to decide how we want to live, how our neighbors, when we buy something in somewhere in this county, that they're going to come tell us how to live. And let me tell you, this has not happened yet, and now's the time for us to stand up and support going against this. And regarding property rights, you have property rights, but if you come in front of the board, in my opinion, you want to change your rights. So that's where we have to look at if it's compatible to the neighborhood and to the people that are already here. So I kind of agree but disagree with you, Commissioner Whitehurst.
Through the chair, just to clarify too, so if this does move forward, we would have to amend our comp plan and our land development code to put those factors in there. So you have to put factors regarding compatibility in both your comp plan and the future land use, as well as in your land development code, as well as any mitigating. So this would come back to the board if it goes forward to discuss those type of factors moving forward.
If it's passed, when is it going to affect? Is it July 1?
No, January 1st, 2027 goes into effect. This will be, the whole bill is effective, what becomes the law when signed, but this part doesn't get implemented till January 1st, 2027.
Okay.
And another timeline that is relevant is that it's scheduled to be signed or denied by the governor on the 2nd of April.
Okay. Well, I can kind of talk to both points just for a second. I'm very against losing our home rule. The challenge that we face here is that our priorities here at the county level are not the same as the state and the federal level. Our priorities are to make sure that we have the ability to control our growth in our county the way we see fit. The state and the federal level are on have a total different mindset about that. And so as our governing body, they have the ability to, in a way, I just want to stand with you and say that if we don't do our job in planning correctly, then we subject ourselves to being preempted by the state. I also agree with Commissioner Joseph in that we have to stand up and say where things are right and where things are not right. And it's a challenge for me to allow someone who doesn't live here to come in and tell us how we do our business. So it's a big challenge. I agree with the letter, but I also agree that we as a commission cannot stick our head in the sand and say that if we say no to everything, that everything's going to be all right, because that's not the case. It's obviously not the case. The state's going to preempt us, and that's something that we would be at least partially responsible for. So it's important that we stand up and protect our rights and speak the way we can, but we also have to be good stewards of the responsibility given us by our people. So, okay. I don't have anything else. Anybody else have anything else?
I'm sorry, Chairman. I'm not finished.
It's your turn. Sorry.
So the other quick update is really still relative to the state legislative session, since we don't have a final budget yet. The Senate bill is still including our request for $1 million for the State Road 16 expansion, as well as the $1 million for the Florida Black History Museum. The House has not included any of our requests at this time, so we'll find out once they have the special session to try to pass the final budget.
But it's in there somewhere, so we still have hope of...
On the Senate side, yes.
Okay.
Yes, and then the other thing I wanted to mention is that I appreciate Commissioner Taylor's mentioning about a education campaign, and I think that's really timely and very relevant to our current climate with uncertainty of our growth rate. as well as the tax reform and what kind of impact it's going to have on St. Johns County and our services and our residents as well. What we had a kind of plan for, Chairman, was that we're going to develop an education campaign for our residents, which is our audience. We want to make sure they understand what they're paying for and what they are funded, what they're funding in terms of their level of services. I know you had a consensus on coming back with an agenda item. I think my recommendation would be to just showcase what kind of education campaign we're going to put forth. Would that be
Fine
okay?
with me.
Okay, thank you. That concludes my report.
Thanks.
Thank you.
And I really appreciate that. We've got a lot of work to do. Keely?
County Attorney's Office, happy Easter, Passover, enjoy the season. Thank you.
Okay, without any further business, we are adjourned. Thank you.